Stagnation.
Champions.
Welcome back to the channel. Okay.
Good job.
We're going to be talking about Bitcoin and Uncle Sam. How did it end up being called Uncle Sam? Who is Uncle Sam?
Actually, that's a good one. The tax office, IRS.
Yeah. I remember in high school somewhere there was that poster which said "I want you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Sam.
But that's the U.S. military, though.
Yeah, that was the military. That was military.
U.S. Army.
Sure. That was
Yeah.
US Army, when they were doing the drafts and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, however, it ended up being called Uncle Sam. We don't like Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam has been alive for too long. We want to know, when is it do you die, sir?
It's wrecking your bank
Yeah,
account.
you're wrecking our bank account. You're an inconvenience. A hassle. Theft is what you are, sir. But I digress. Yeah. The US government has dragged its heels on a clear regulatory framework for the cryptocurrency industry, and it could become a big problem. Let me start by pointing this out.
Could become a big problem.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let me start by pointing out to everyone right now. This is not a new article we're doing. Okay. This article is from 2021.
Could become a big problem.
Yes. But these people are running behind. They cannot see the problems yet.
So 2 years later, and we're still behind.
Try 15 years. Bitcoin has been out for since when? 15 years now.
Yeah.
Crypto as a whole, let's say at least 14 years, because the moment Ethereum came out, man, shitcoinery was in full swing, right? So over this whole time, these people have not been able to come up with some sort of legislation so that we can all agree as a society that this is how we're going to operate with this thing. We could have been voting on these things and trying to hash out and refine this process by now.
More transparency, more accountability.
Yes. But we think that the ball has been dropped. We think the ball has been dropped. The ball has been dropped. These are some of the things that are pointed out in this article. Let's talk about it. All right. First of all, Double, what are your thoughts on this situation when you look at this statement here about this lack of clear, they've been dragging their heels on this clear regulatory framework situation? Do you think it's just dragging their heels, or maybe intentionally manipulating the situation for their own benefit?
I think I know too much.
Well, go ahead and telling us then.
I can tell everybody everything I know. I just think that in general, bureaucracy in government, government institutions, a lot of them, that's why they hire contractors, right, to do the actual work. And those guys benefit by taking profits. But the actual work that needs to get done, which needs to be led by the government, it's not there. Good leadership. People not getting the job because of they know somebody in leadership, right? Worst case is actual future-driven leadership, not reactional. You know how at the office we strategize, we try to implement solutions. And just the leadership is not seeing that future or driving that vision.
Yeah, they're not offensive. They are leading with a backward mindset.
We have
Leading from a place of weakness.
We have too much of that in government.
Leading from a defensive position where you're trying to look out for your own interests first before the interest of the general public and the people at large. That selfish approach, it only shrinks things. It never expands them. Makes sense. I agree with you there, sir.
And it does not matter if it's Democrat or Republican. It's just
it's been
government institutions need to be revamped majorly.
So since Biden took office there, right?
I think Biden has been worse for anything crypto or Bitcoin. That
guy
guy's just too old to be in office to understand any technology.
He does. That's the thing.
And he surrounds himself with a bunch of fools.
Bro, no one can tell me that Biden knows more about Bitcoin than I do, bro. And that's the leader of the free world. I would hope that at least at a very basic level he understands some of this. Look, man, look at the president of El Salvador. Is it a coincidence that one of the only presidents, that got this thing and jumped on it right on time
was a young guy?
Happened to be a young guy. Why could it not have been one of the older people?
Which is why I think that America's next president has to be young.
Has to be super young, bro. This shit is out of control. Like we're in the technology age, man. And it's nothing against any government or anything like that. This is just about serious, robust. Listen, if we're taxpayers in this country, right, we have to have demands. We're not here to just give away our money for free. This means that we're paying our taxes. There's certain things that we demand for, and we expect
you to deliver.
These people to be making valiant efforts to achieve that. Otherwise, man, we're all screwed as a country, and nobody wins from that. So the whole thing where people start to go, oh yeah, whatever. I don't want to, I don't want to have conversations that are not really,
productive,
or trying to make some true change in society. Maybe you're not a leader. That's fine. Just do
and stay away from government.
Yeah. So you see, the Treasury Secretary was going to impose some, at least they say Biden helped by rolling them back from imposing this onerous new rules, right, on the crypto industry. A campaign many saw as anti-crypto vendetta. Meanwhile, Biden's choice, well, that was when Trump was in office. So then Biden came into office, right, and then he put Gensler, who is a former MIT blockchain professor, right? Watch that course.
But
right,
they forgot to add that was also an ex-banker.
Yeah, he was also an ex-banker for sure.
So, don't just come out here saying MIT, crap MIT.
Yeah. But that's also what is also really shocking to me, because they use these names to qualify themselves, right? This is what they use to make people look seem like they have the credentials.
Yeah.
Well, I graduated from Harvard with X, Y, and Z and Z. Yeah. I went to MIT with this, that, and that, and that. But then when you call out someone and say, "Hey, MIT guy, why are you fucking up like this?" Right? Then they start to go, "Oh well, just because we went to MIT, or maybe because you did not go to guy. You said MIT is something legitimate, so we must attach it. Because if you're gonna let it drag you up, then you have to wear the same badge on the way down. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So MIT grad, okay, smart guy in the room,
professor,
right? Blockchain professor,
can't even get it right.
Right? Who may not pursue crypto policies but clearly understands Bitcoin deeply. But that now brings a question: is it that he cannot get it right, or is this intellectual dishonesty?
Oh, is it?
Is this what they teach you guys at MIT?
I think it's what they teach all of them. Harvard, MIT, Stanford.
All right. We're gonna push on here, because this one is absolutely something that is definitely really affecting us, the US, as we are right now. So now what happened was, instead of we have this outright hostility approach that they could be using, right? But you see, the US is still a very long way from developing policies to encourage crypto innovation. I don't think that a whole lot more has changed since this article was written last year. Or is it 2 years ago, right?
We still have Senator Warren going back saying that it's being used for fraud and, it's for terrorism and all that stuff.
Okay.
2 years later.
Yeah.
And she has enough time to learn.
Yeah, and what actions has she taken, right? If she really thinks that this is the way to stop all types of fraud.
You know what action she's been taking?
What is that?
Lying to the rest of America about what Bitcoin and crypto is, while using that money to go and buy other stuff like Nvidia and all this other stuff and making money indirectly. Because Nvidia is part of the technology that supports the Bitcoin nodes.
Yeah.
And the Bitcoin mining situation. She's still making money out of lying to the rest of everybody.
Well, here's the thing. I always say this, man. The role of the government is to just provide protection and make sure that you have the opportunities to pursue your dreams. It is not the government's job to ensure your success, right? And to that end, maybe the rules are blurry, but I think to that end, as human beings themselves, they will always have to look out for their own best interest, right? And so maybe she's looking out for her best interest in that case.
Yeah, but the banker's interest.
Right, but then it is a game where they are doing that. They're fully aware of what their capabilities or what may not be their capabilities. And then they're gaslighting the general public. This is why people think that if they say something, then
it's factual, it's the truth.
Yeah, right. Or if the people speak up, then it can be perceived as being against the government. Meanwhile, they know that's not the truth, and they're just taking full advantage of the situation.
Unfortunate, man. In
We'll see,
America,
right? We know at this point in time that the market manipulation is not even a joke. It's not even a
it's not a lie.
it's not conspiracy theory. We see Nancy Pelosi, right?
They do it all the time. Federal Reserve does that with the interest rate. We might increase just the news enough.
Exactly.
It's enough to destroy the markets.
All right. Now check this out. It says the law here is a mess, right? As different agencies pursue competing or even contradictory regulations, so they're not even in alignment.
CFTC versus FATF
Yeah.
versus SEC. It's all over the place. Department of Justice cannot even regulate freaking Ponzi scheme FTX.
Exactly. In fact, they were letting him go.
Come on, man.
Right. And Congress, which passed laws in 1990s to help the country lead the world in the internet technology, seems content to let other countries take the lead when it comes to crypto.
That statement there is the two-edged sword. They passed the law, but they took over the internet.
Well,
They centralized the internet.
or was it they passed the law because they could take over the internet? Like, say, for example, if they had figured out that there's a way to control Bitcoin and they can take control of it,
They will pass
would they
the
not
law.
suddenly have regulations?
Oh, they did that with marijuana.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Look at man.
Listen, man.
MIT, you ain't got
Listen,
nothing in us.
Hey, listen. I watched Gary Gensler's course on blockchain technologies. You know what I mean?
Not once, twice.
Exactly. Oh man, I do know the whole time I was watching that course, man, I kept thinking to myself like, yo, man, these people pay thousands of dollars to be in this class. I'm sitting on my couch watching it for free.
Yup.
Information is the same.
That is for real, man.
Ain't that crazy?
They
I
passed,
think that's the case.
for the longest, we could buy everything on eBay without taxes.
Yes.
But the moment they started everything and they had full control of the internet,
Yeah.
so until they figure out a way to get Bitcoin captured, they're not passing it. So you think the spot Bitcoin ETF is an approach or another attempt to capture Bitcoin, which they have failed multiple times on?
The Bitcoin ETF is a social engineering scheme. Okay. You cannot control the coin, but you have media power. So the best option now is to try to get as much of the capital moving in the direction that is beneficial to you. What I don't think they are considering here is the fact that down the line,
The technology takes over, actually.
yeah, I mean, the technology takes over because more adoption is going to keep happening, right?
And the actual use of the technology will now come
Exactly.
and infiltrate the system.
Exactly. I also think that they believe that they have time to buy because if they're waiting for other countries to take on it first, right? They're waiting to see what might be the outcomes of it. Mind you, okay, these people have locked up a bunch of people and taken their bitcoins. These people still hold Bitcoin.
And they'll be the one holding it while you're holding the paper.
Exactly. Right. So you know, I think at the end of the day, like let's say like El Salvador and a bunch of other countries make Bitcoin legal tender, then it starts turning out like, hey, look at this, it's actually crushing all of it's crushing everyone. Let's say
Global
El Salvador,
reserve system.
yeah, like let's say El Salvador suddenly starts booming to the point where their economy is just steadily rising up the ranks. I think at that point in time, the US can be like, you know what, we're going to put Bitcoin in our economy as well.
Yep.
And then they'll take all these Bitcoins that they, BitConnect. Have people from BitConnect received their Bitcoin back?
No.
Okay. Who do you think is holding the Bitcoin, man?
Federal government.
It's been 15 years.
So it's
how
easy
many
for
years? Why can't you not give it back?
It's easy for them to make it a Federal Reserve system,
Yes.
monetary system.
Yes, they definitely can. I think that they can.
And Vivek is
Right.
talking about that too right now. Is to
Yeah.
balance the US dollar. We need to peg the US dollar back to a commodity. And part of the commodities that he's
Yeah.
thinking of is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Okay. But then the question is it fair? Well, nothing is fair. How horrible or how ethically corrupt is it that you retrieve these coins from scam operations, you retrieve these coins from essentially locking up people who committed no crime and taking all of their bitcoins, and this is what now you're going to use to back your or at least integrate that into your economy? Because I think that is going to have to happen at some point in time, whether they want it or not. The regulations are not that difficult to come up with because at the end of the day, with Bitcoin, it's not going to need that much regulation. It puts you in trade by barter in the most digitally
Most efficient trade by barter ever, man.
yeah, it's the most digitally secured way.
Without me even seeing you, I can
Yeah.
trade by barter with you, man.
Exactly. So what kind of regulations do you need for that? How are you gonna tax it? And the only way you can afford to be going without taxing people so much is by having serious productivity in your country, where a lot of things are being generated.
Flat tax. Productivity is so high, just do a flat tax across.
Yeah,
And we'll build.
exactly.
Just be efficient with it. And you can do the flat tax easily with Bitcoin too. Easy.
Yeah. This is, I don't get it, bro.
So it's not complicated and it's not confusing. It's just done intentionally because we don't have the right people in leadership.
Yeah, I don't know if this is real life anymore, man. You know, sometimes I have these revelations that I'm like, just like, Jesus, why is this happening? So even here, you see, also the other thing I would also point out here, very important, very important to note, the fact that they are letting other countries take the lead. Okay, indicates
Hong Kong, Germany.
exactly. It indicates that they recognize that they cannot capture it, because if they could capture it, that is what they will do. There's no two ways about it. If they could capture it, that is what they'll do. This also indicates, or is really an admission, that we cannot control Bitcoin. This thing has dominated us. But we're going to let those other guys do it first and see how it plays out with the economy before we roll into it with our own economy when we see the benefits that are available. The Bitcoin ETF, again, that's social engineering, is just going to distract the flow of capital that could go into this thing.
Actual thing.
Right? Because think about it, if that capital flows straight into Bitcoin, which is
$1 million Bitcoin, easy. Easy.
where would El Salvador stand in the world then?
Richest country in the world.
So
Forget
crazy.
Singapore.
So crazy. Alrighty. Well, we'll see what happens. So what's going on? Why are U.S. lawmakers and regulators? Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, the
Yeah.
U.S. government has more Bitcoin than anybody else.
Yeah,
So
that's-
Bitcoin
that's-
America does become the richest company in the world.
I know that's what I'm saying, that they've been taking away people's Bitcoins now. How much of it did they buy, and how much of it did they
Still from other
see
people.
from other people? Yeah, they've been taking people's Bitcoin for a long time.
Mm.
But you know, what do I know? Why have U.S. lawmakers and regulators failed to embrace the most transformative technology of this decade?
Cause that's easy. The bankers control the government,
Yeah,
and the government not about to get. The bankers not about to get wiped out.
yeah.
So you gotta push back until you get control.
Well,
So you use the spot Bitcoin ETF to control it, and now you're back in charge.
here's the thing. I think that is because I agree with very much the line of thoughts there. I think that this is an admission of the fact that, one, we cannot control it, and two, it is going to reduce our power.
Mm.
Right? And so they say it's complicated. Right?
Is it?
Hey. This person recently spoke with a long-time department lawyer,
Department of
Justice
Justice.
Department lawyer,
Yeah.
right, who prosecuted high-profile money laundering cases, including those involving Bitcoin. He concealed that the U.S. crypto policy has been dysfunctional, with parts of the federal government trying to encourage Bitcoin-style innovation, while others are trying to shut it down. So there is not even a cohesiveness.
We've talked about self-interests.
Yeah.
We've talked about, the invisible end of the government.
Right? Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. And I think this definitely takes away the power from,
Come on, man. Are you saying that for 2 years nothing has moved in the U.S. government?
I mean, some things have moved. I mean,
What, since Senator Warren still building an army of
No.
Bitcoin anti-Bitcoin army?
a lot of artillery has crossed the ocean.
Oh, FTX
No.
destruction.
What's it called, that place again? Ukraine and all that.
Oh yeah.
Some stuff has moved in government for sure. Yeah, look, man. I think that this whole terrorist financing thing, which again they keep coming back to, right? And you have agencies that essentially are moving in different directions when it comes to
The actual solution.
solutions to this Bitcoin situation.
Yep.
And then, of course, there is the idea of using it as a strategic weapon. So this article here says, he noted that since the passing of the Patriot Act, the Feds have turned the US dollar into a strategic weapon to push foreign policy goals. And I think that that is no longer going to be an effective weapon, because you can no longer push these foreign policy goals, because we've seen that they have sanctioned
Russia.
and a bunch of other countries responded to that by de-dollarizing, still in the process of de-dollarizing, right?
Sanction Iran.
Yeah. So the only way that they can really get these countries to come back into it, but then they don't need to get the countries to come back to it, because if they buy Bitcoin, then these countries can be like, hey, we'll send you Bitcoin. we don't want a dollar backed by Bitcoin, because we remember what happened when everyone sent their gold over, that you guys should hold it and we'll use dollars backed by gold, right?
Yep.
You essentially robbed us of our gold because you did not give it back to us.
Yep.
So why would these people go, yes, we'll send you our Bitcoins and we'll all continue to use the dollar? It's not needed.
Yep. I can hold my own Bitcoin.
Exactly.
We just transact.
It's not needed. So I think this is a straight admission of, I don't want to say failure.
Did we just break down the entire US financial strategy?
I mean, every day, slowly but surely, man, we are hammering away at the reality that confronts us. And we're just trying to do it in a very simplified way.
And we didn't have to go to MIT for that.
MIT, I know the MIT people will be like, what beef do these people have with MIT? Listen, I actually love MIT, okay? With some nice colors. I would have loved to go to MIT without the fees. Yeah, that's all.
The management fees.
Exactly. Let's see. Ironically, this decision may have hastened the rise of competing currencies to the dollar, including Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I mean, I think Bitcoin is already
it's winning.
Yeah, it's winning. New York Times noted that the weaponization of the dollar has angered Europe and led governments there to explore financial tools that would make them less dependent on the U.S. Treasury. Please.
Imagine your ally, Europe.
Please, what are they gonna do? What is going to be your next currency? Charles Schwab's fucking twisted neck. I mean, not Schwab.
ECU, man.
Klaus.
Klaus. Yeah, Klaus.
Yeah. You guys go hang out somewhere in the Swiss Alps or whatever.
They're still working on their own digital currency exchange for the euro.
Oh really?
Yeah, they are.
Why is it that these people cannot think outside of the box, man? You guys are building the same shit. Come on,
man.
Come on, you guys are building it. Look, speaking of building the same stuff, okay, I just clicked on this one here. 2 trillion stimulus package. That was in 2021. 2 trillion. At the same time, I have a question for Bitcoin people, because I'm pretty sure when this was probably posted, Bitcoin guys were going 2 trillion package. Bitcoin to the moon.
It did go to the moon, because that's March 2021. Bitcoin did not start crashing until October, November of 2021. So we had that big pump. We can go look at it in the charts if you want to.
There's an element to that though, because the previous years, Bitcoin still made that move
without this
2 trillion pump.
Yeah.
So if this 2 trillion pump would have not happened, I think Bitcoin would have still made that move.
It just
based on the technical analysis.
Yeah, but it adds.
It adds, right?
Yeah.
This is why. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because I'm like, there is this culture of traditional media where they must do correlations. They must correlate. Oh well, this index is doing this because gas and oil is doing this, and this one is doing this. They have to keep trying to correlate something to something, and I don't think that these people can tell me that the first runs that Bitcoin had was because of stimulus package or whatever else like that. The first few ones, all the way up to, we've seen phases where Bitcoin looks like it's moving with something, right? Like it's tagged, it's pegging, it's correlating with something. Yeah. And, analysts will come out and be like, oh, well, if this goes down, then Bitcoin is going down. And if this goes up, then Bitcoin is going up. I think it's the other way around, because let's say we take Tesla, for example. Tesla will be moving however it's moving. But the only time that Bitcoin will be able to move the same way, or sort of
Similar.
match with
Yeah.
the movements on Bitcoin is after Tesla makes a decision to put Bitcoin on his books, right? So now, when a massive drop is coming through, that may be uncharacteristic of Tesla. I think that is coming from Bitcoin. It's same as when a massive rise happens.
It's the same reverse psychology that they use on us. Remember when the futures ETF was coming up around October 2021, something like that? Like, oh, futures ETF is going to make Bitcoin blow up. It went the opposite direction because it's a futures ETF.
Listen, man, there's some Bitcoiners out there, man. Y'all get hyped on everything. It's cool, though. It's cool. Nothing wrong with it. Keep doing you. Keep doing you. Right? Anything else? What else do you want to add?
I think we accomplished the goal here. Confusion, complication,
disappointment,
all that, whatever you want to call it.
So these people will say, you know, when someone is about to break up with their girlfriend, they're like, "It's not you, it's me." Yeah,
I've used that before.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it's not Bitcoin. It's the US gold. You know what I mean? It's y'all. It's y'all. It's y'all. Get your shit together, man. Act like the number one that you are.
Yes, sir.
We are fully behind you. Amazing stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, we are also on X at STAKK and Spotify as STAKK.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, Brazen up.
Double O.